How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Diabetes Management Group. And today we are going to talk about different tips and strategies to help people with diabetes survive Thanksgiving. So imagine you are in this scenario where you are driving to a place with a rental car, and this rental car all of a sudden has some blinking lights saying, oh, the tire pressure isn't right. You ignore it and you decide, let's keep driving because I got to get to this destination. I got to make sure I return this rental. Then all of a sudden, another light comes up and it says, hey, there's an issue with the oil and gas. It's not reading it right. And you think, okay, that's more of an issue, but I'm still not super cognizant. I'm going to ignore it. Then all of a sudden, as you keep driving, you start seeing a bunch of smoke coming off from that rental car and it just poops out and dies on the side of the street. And you're like, what the crap is going on? I don't even know what's going on with this car. This is really janky. I can't even get it back to the service dealer or anything. So all that negativity, that anxiety, that worry, that what the heck just happened just occurred. Well, imagine that car in that situation is how you feel during Thanksgiving when someone decides not to check their blood sugars routinely throughout those Thanksgiving meals. So those warning lights, those signs, take it as information that, hey, there's something going on with this car and I should address something about it right now. So same thing with our body. Each time that we have a meal, we want to make sure that we check our blood sugars before the meal, the morning of, to see where our blood sugars are at. And then 2 hours after the meal, this also includes snacks and it also includes caloric beverages, alcoholic beverages, that is also included with it too, just to see where your blood sugars are at because that number, no matter how high, how low, if it's even in the middle, it's just a number and it's giving you information of what to do from that point on. So, whenever someone is deciding, okay, I want to go to Thanksgiving and I'm not sure how many carbs I can have or what I can even eat, the major thing is do not go full send where you're just going to eat everything that you have on site and call it a day where I don't have diabetes. People with diabetes, they'll have diabetes and it's going to be happening regardless of what holiday is. There's no such thing as a break or taking time off. So you have to take your health very seriously in order to make sure that you have a great time at Thanksgiving with balanced blood sugars, knowing what the game plan is, and enjoying life and the freedom that comes with it because a lot of the confusion, the hesitation, anxiety that comes with navigating the holidays, especially with Thanksgiving, is ignoring the issue or not being well equipped to manage the issue. And the first step to everything is just take a deep breath first. And you have plenty of time now to start practicing these tips in order to navigate Thanksgiving. So, similar thing that happens whenever someone is wanting to eat the foods for Thanksgiving, measure out the food portions, like figure out, okay, if I want to have a roll, then how many grams of carbs generally is that? And if you're not sure what the size of that is, you could always go to a website to figure out how many carbs is in a general roll and then input that into the calculator. And then understand, is this a fast acting carb? Is this a slow acting carb? Because if it is a fast acting carb, what things can I pair with it? So if someone is going to present you with a roll, then figure out, should I have some green beans on the side that doesn't have any of the extra gravy? Instead, can I have the green beans more by itself where it's boiled or steamed and then salted with some pepper and maybe a vinaigrette on there? So it acts as a way to have some fiber with that simple carb so that the blood sugar spikes, it's not going to go up as high. Now, needless to say, blood sugar spikes are normal. The rough part about having diabetes, specifically with type 2 diabetes and prediabetes, which we're talking about in this video, is that the body has a harder time getting those blood sugars back down into ranges. So just because the blood sugar spikes, it doesn't mean it's a concern. The concern about it is, okay, what can I do to try to keep it more within ranges? Or if it is high, what can I do to start taking the appropriate steps to bring it back down into those ranges? So pairing fiber, high fiber foods with the simple carbs will help significantly in managing the blood sugar levels so that it doesn't spike up as high. And if it doesn't spike up as high, that means it doesn't have as enough room where it needs to go back down, compared to something that just spikes up super high and it lingers up there. So the fiber helps significantly with that. Finding lean protein. So having the white meats, whether that is part of the turkeys or chicken breast, whatever someone is having for Thanksgiving, utilize those lean proteins so that it can help with the blood sugar so it's able to stay more within ranges. Because protein paired with the simple carbs, that helps a lot in managing those blood sugars because it slows down the digestion process of those carbs and making it a lot smoother to eat and have. And then another tip with it is eat slower. So take one bite at a time, really enjoy the texture of the food, take some water with it, because generally the Thanksgiving meals, they are going to have a good amount of sodium. So that's going to lead to more dehydration and causing blood sugars to go up. But by hydrating and slowing down with what we're eating, that can limit the amount of carbs that we're eating. That also limits the amount of calories that we're eating and the additional water that helps with making our blood sugars more steady because we're staying hydrated and making it so the blood sugars are going to be more manageable. So just focus on those small tips. Additionally, anytime that you're going to eat a snack or going to eat those meals, make sure to go on a walk. So 15 to 20-minute walk, that's going to be significantly beneficial in keeping those blood sugars whenever they're higher, using those muscles to activate it so that those blood sugars can get back into the ranges again. So if you have a dog, then walking the dog out if the weather is nice. If the weather's not nice, pacing around the house while the football game is on, something to watch to distract you and keep your interest in so that you could keep walking and enjoying that process. That's going to be significantly better. Or walking out with a family member, someone else who cares for your health, and going on a walk with them can help with the blood sugar management. So it's a lot easier. Or another smart idea is after the meal is over, then going to help do the dishes. So that involves a lot of walking, sidestepping, moving some loads of items into the dishwasher, actually scrubbing and using your hips and your body to utilize those muscles to keep those blood sugars back into the ranges. That's going to be significantly helpful. And of course, check the blood sugars whenever you are not feeling right, or doing it 2 hours after the meal, or anytime that you consume food or a caloric beverage. That's going to be super beneficial in managing diabetes well and keeping those blood sugars more within ranges. Now, an optimal range to keep it within 2 hours after a meal is between 70 to 180 milligrams per deciliter. So whatever your continuous glucose monitor says, or doing the finger pricks to see your blood sugar levels, that's going to be very beneficial. And additionally, if you don't use those conversions of those values, then put it into a conversion calculator to translate it into whatever units that you do measure so that it's more effective in that way. I've seen a lot of questions being brought up to me about, hey, I'm having these random blackouts and I'm not sure what's going on with it. And whenever people are asking them, hey, what's your blood sugar like? Are you checking them? A majority of the time they're saying no, but they did say that they ate a super heavy meal leading to that blackout, which is not a good idea to not check the blood sugars, because that's your indicator to figure out where's your blood sugar at. And that's information to tell you what to do afterwards. Because if the blood sugars are low, like if it's below 70, then that means, hey, I should take some faster acting carbs and then reassess it in a little bit of time, whether that is 15 minutes. Generally 15 minutes is a good idea to check it right after to see how well it has trending. Like if it's trending upwards, that's good. So you can get back into the ranges. Or if it's too high, that means, hey, I got to move around, do a form of physical activity to get them back into the ranges. Of course, with medications, if you do have any concerns about it and how that's going to impact your Thanksgiving, consult with your doctors about it. And of course, if you have access to a diabetes care team, diabetes educators, they are going to be very knowledgeable to help you understand how to navigate Thanksgiving with diabetes. You can have whichever foods that you want. You just have to be more mindful of what you got to pair it with and what types of physical activity you have to do in order to keep it well within ranges. Because medications, they are great. However, the goal of improving our health is to try to reduce the amount of medications that we're using, to focus on maximizing what our body can do, because we are amazing human beings to see how we can adapt and change to it. Of course, these are all educational beliefs. This is not medical advice. This is just some stuff that I found that could be helpful for people entering into the holiday season and making sure that we are supporting each other and avoiding any catastrophic events. Because just like the analogy that I used earlier of that car rental situation, we don't want to be in a situation where the car poops out or our body pooping out by us blacking out and then waking up in the hospital for a hyperglycemic episode, so blood sugars being way too high, or if being fearful of food and just not eating anything, being in a hypoglycemic episode and just not having enough blood sugars, that's going to be super difficult. So a lot of the times we want to be within that ranges and making those informed decisions to do them. And of course, if you don't have the willpower to utilize that, then of course, rely on your friends, your family members to do it. Another thing to be aware of as well is sugar alcohols, because some sugar alcohols, if they say, hey, oh, here's a sugar-free candy, sometimes that sugar alcohol can actually lead to more spikes in the blood sugar and causing bloating, which is more of like a stress response, which is not a good thing. So just be aware of how your body responds to certain treats, because if it's going to be a new treat that you haven't had before, see if you could try to have it before Thanksgiving. Otherwise, it could end up as a crazy Thanksgiving day that is a story that should not be told or should not be said. So we want to avoid those moments, like practice things in a safer environment. And over, over if this information is overwhelming to you, then try one of these tips tomorrow and get prepared for that Thanksgiving day so that it's going to be a day where you can enjoy having the food that you want, enjoy spending time with your family, your friends, or whatever situation that you're in, and having a great time with it. And also avoiding any health uh, emergencies, because we want to make sure we avoid that and have a good time with our family members. Anyways, if you found this video helpful, I'd appreciate it if you could share this video with someone that you think it'd be helpful for. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, please put them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them. Thanksgiving is coming up soon. And for those who are enjoying a football game while they're watching it, have a good time with it. Make sure to walk around, keep moving around, standing up, or if someone has a walking pad, utilize that walking pad. Just keep on being active whenever there's going to be a larger amount of foods that's going to be consumed. One other small tip to be aware of as well is if someone just decides to utilize the keto diet and avoid all forms of carbohydrates whatsoever, then an important thing to be aware about is sometimes an important thing to be aware about is fats and lean protein with little amounts of carbs that can actually convert the proteins and the fats into carbs through a process called gluconeogenesis. And sometimes that could take about 4 to 6 hours, depending on the person. So it may look great 2 hours later, but just know that because it's 4 to 6 hours later, that it can cause more of the increases in the spikes of blood sugars. Chunking it between them would be a good idea. So anyways, that's the last little bit. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you are interested in figuring out what types of high fiber foods you can incorporate for your Thanksgiving meals, we have a ebook that's inside the comments and it's pinned for you to check out. All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.